Hello everyone, in this video we're going to explore topic 8.6c, error between curves with even and odd functions. We have two formulas. The first one, if the function f is even, then the integral from negative a to a of the function f of s ds equals 2 times the integral from 0 to a f of s ds, right? It tells us that the function f of s is symmetric about the y-axis, right? Now, if the function f is odd, then the integral from negative a to a of the function f of s ds equals 0, right? Because the function f of s is symmetric about the origin, right? And remember that if the function f is even, you have f of negative s equals f of s, right? If the function f of s is odd, you have f of negative s is negative f of s. Alright, so keep that in mind. Now check out the link in the description below for the proof of the two formulas right here. Let's take a look at the first example. Even functions. Find the error of the regions bounded by the graph of the y equals 4 minus s squared and the x-axis. So does that mean your error should be this guy? The error should be the integral from the left end bound is negative 2, the right end bound is 2, right? Negative 2 to 2 of f of s. Upper function subtract the lower function. The lower function is y equals 0 right here, right? So you subtract 0 ds, right? And this guy turns out to be the integral from negative 2 to 2 of f of s ds, right? But f of s is 4 minus s squared right here, so it's going to be integral from negative 2 to 2 of 4 minus s squared ds. Alright, now I'm going to check to see if the function f of s is even or odd, right? So I have f of s equals 4 minus s squared, right? Then f of negative s equals 4 minus parentheses negative s altogether squared, right? So it could be 4 minus s squared, and it's actually f of s, right? So I just proved that f of negative s equals f of s. It tells us that f of s is even, right? So if f of s is even, this guy right here becomes 2 times the integral from 0 to 2 of 4 minus s squared ds, right? I'm going to use the formula right here. Alright, so this guy turns out to be 2 times antiderivative of 4 is going to be 4s minus s cubed over 3 evaluated from 0 to 2, right? So I'm going to simplify this one. It's going to be 2 times, substitute 2 for s, so it could be 8 minus 8 over 3. Substitute 0 for s, it could be 0, right? So this guy turns out to be 2 times 16 over 3, right? So it could be 32 over 3, right? This one is the final answer. You can use the calculator to check your work, right? You hit add calculator right here. Hit menu, calculus, integral from 0 to 2 of 4 minus s squared ds, right? And don't forget to multiply by 2, right? Hit enter. The answer 32 over 3, right? Now let's take a look at the example number 2, even trig functions. Find the error of the regions bounded by the graph y equals 1/2 cosine s, the x-axis, and the line s equals plus and minus pi over 2, right? So minus pi over 2 should be this guy, plus pi over 2 should be this guy, right? So does that mean the error of these regions right here? Alright, now observe that these regions right here symmetric about the y-axis, right? Half of this one right here and half of this one right here. Now we're going to check to see if this function is even or odd. algebraically, right? So we have f of s equals 1/2 cosine s, right? Then you have f of negative s is going to be 1/2 of cosine of negative s, right? But cosine of negative s actually cosine of s, so it can be 1/2 cosine of s, and this guy actually f of s, right? So you just prove that f of negative s equals f of s. It tells us that f of s is even, right? So the error of this guy should be the integral from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2 of 1/2 cosine of s ds, right? Alright, so this guy turns out to be 2 times the integral from 0 to pi over 2 1/2 cosine s ds, right? And then 2 and 2 right here cancel out, so it can be integral from 0 to pi over 2 of cosine s ds, right? And time derivative of cosine s could be sine s, right? So it could be sine s evaluated from 0 to pi over 2, right? So I substitute pi over 2 for s, so it could be sine of pi over 2 minus sine of 0, right? Sine of pi over 2 equals 1. Sine of 0 equals 0. The answer is 1. This one is the final answer. Now we can use the calculator to check our work, right? So we're going to bring up the calculator. Hit menu, calculus, integral from negative pi over 2. So I'm going to hit fraction right here, right? So I hit pi over 2. Don't forget negative side right here, right? And we'll copy this one and we'll put over here. Of 1/2, which means 0.5, right? So I have 0.5 cosine s, right? Hit cosine s ds and hit enter. The answer is 1, right? Now let's move on to example number 3, odd functions. Find the error of the regions bounded by the graph y equals 1/8 s cubed plus 1/2 s, the x-axis, and the line s equals plus and minus 2, right? So minus 2 is going to be right here. Plus 2 is going to be right here. Right, so does that mean the region should be this guy right here and this guy right here? Right. Now we're going to check this one to see if it's even out, right? So I have f of s equals 1/8s cubed plus 1/2 s, right? Then I have f of negative s. It's going to be 1/8 times negative s cubed plus 1/2 times negative s, right? Then this guy turns out to be negative 1/8s cubed minus 1/2 s, right? I factor negative 1 out, so it could be negative parenthesis 1/8s cubed plus 1/2 s, right? Now look at the one inside parenthesis. This guy actually f of s, right? So I will write negative side right here, and I put f of s right here. Now I just prove that f of negative s equals negative f of s, right? So this guy tells us that the function is right? So the integral from negative 2 to 2 right here of this guy right here is 0. This one is the final answer. Now you can use the calculator to check it work, right? So you hit menu, calculus, integral from negative 2 to 2, right? Right here, 1/8 times s cubed plus 1/2 times s ds. Hit enter. The answer is 0, right? Now let's move on to example number 4. Find the error of the regions bounded by the graph y equals 1/2 sine s, the x-axis, and the line s equals plus and minus pi, right? Minus pi is right here. Plus pi is right here, right? And the error should be these regions right here, right? And observe that this guy symmetric about the origin. And this guy actually did odd function. The error must be 0, right? Now we're going to check this one algebraically, right? So we have f of s equals 1 half sine s, right? Now we have f of negative s equals 1 half times sine of negative s, right? But sine of negative s equals negative sine s, so it will be negative 1 half sine s, right? I put this one inside parentheses. So I will write negative side over here. This guy over here, actually, this guy over here. So it will be negative f of s, right? Now I just proved that f of negative s equals negative f of s. So this guy tells us that the function f of s is odd, right? So the error is the integral from negative pi to pi of 1 half sine s ds. This guy actually 0, right? Now you can check your work with calculator, right? So you're gonna hit menu, calculus, integral from negative pi to pi of 1 half times sine s ds, hit enter. The answer is 0, right? And it's your turn to solve. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that if you failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine.